So when exactly is it okay to overshare with a client? What should you share and what shouldn't you share? Hi guys, my name is Deepak Shukla, founder of the Pearl Lemon Group. We are a business growth and development agency based in the UK, USA, as well as serving clients worldwide. And here today, in day number 32, we're here to talk about oversharing and what you should and should not share with clients. So if you need some support with your communications training, please do connect with us. And this is before we get into this, please do click the link in the description below to access the 7 additional strategies that are not shared in this training. And yeah, if you haven't yet, please do comment and subscribe with how you're finding this training so far. So look, this is a really good question, and I'm going to go through just a couple of examples to make this clearer. So yesterday I had a call with a client who's non-technical, and they said, Deepak, your team are sending me frankly confusing emails. Maybe it's a lot of technical detail as to what you're working upon, and it's not of any use to me. So that client was non-technical. We were sending them technical updates, and that client then signposted, "Don't share those updates with me. Just simple one-liners." And the way that we should recognize, or the way that we can, so that's powerful. The thing to notice there is that depending upon the type of client you've got and the level of technical expertise, that you can sometimes share too much with clients, and then there's times where you can share too little. But the ultimate, in my view, thing to consider is that the more information is typically better. Okay, the problem is the presentation of the information can often mess things up. So more is better, but if you send a convoluted and confusing email, and this is the email, you should really be sending this potentially, where this links to all of the detail and the minutia, because then depending upon the client, they can read that and then refer to that. In general, emails that are structured like this can get quite confusing, so just something to be mindful of. So look, I think that there's a couple of things to consider when, if it's okay to overshare with a client. So don't overshare where it's to the detriment of the work that you're doing. So remember that you're always coming from a place of confidence. You're always coming from a place of problem solving. And if you're coming from a place of confidence, problem solving, the only element, and then the other area is like creative solution finding. So if finding a solution isn't that easy, then you can talk to the client about your potential plans of attack and strategies. And therefore, you can definitely decide that you want to share basically a couple of approaches that you can embark upon. So that's definitely a way to think about it. But striking that balance in terms of what you share is something that you should only really, I think, consider if you're demonstrating inadvertently that you don't know what you're doing, because you never want to demonstrate that. And the problem with that is not oversharing, but it's the way the information is shared. So I would say that overall, oversharing comes as a consequence of whether, when clients tell you that you're sharing too much, but that typically comes from poorly structured emails and poorly structured content. And easy key identifiers is that, could someone who doesn't know anything about this project understand the email? Is it structured in a way that it's simple to read? Thinking about those things is powerful, but typically more is more. And the more that you can show, the reveal the curtain, if you will, as to what is the work that you're actually doing, the order that you're doing in. So sometimes I like to share, now and again, some of our internal chatter with our clients so they can see what's going on and they get the feeling of a team effect. So I might, for example, get a directive from a client and then follow up with the client and include the instruction to our account manager. So for example, if we've got a client called Frank, and Frank says, Deepak, I need XYZ, I'll follow up with Frank on an email saying, or I'll say, okay, Frank, we'll do XYZ. I'll follow up with email with Frank saying, Frank, great to talk to you today. As discussed, we'll be working on X. Richard, could you look at X? Y. Mary, could you look at Y? Z. Frank, could you look at Z? And these are the KPIs, these are the deadlines. Here's the call recording. Let me know if you've got any questions, and then all of the team will respond, and the client sees that. So I think that really oversharing comes as a consequence of either when a client directly gives you pushback saying you don't need to send me these emails, and that's great because you can then just stop, but ultimately always go for including them in the work, because then they feel they get a team experience and they feel they know what's going on, and then they get to peek behind the curtain. And at that stage, it's for them to tell you, send me less. And that often just comes from structure and the way that the emails are written. So it's about that's important. Now, doing this on every medium, like verbal diarrhea, then we did this, then we did that, then we did this, then we did that. It's something that I would definitely say isn't for the purpose of calls, unless you feel there's a recourse to provide this. It's better that it's done on email, because then it's up to clients to digest what's being sent across. Whereas if you're doing it on the phone, a client can get super pissed off with you, and they're thinking, why are you wasting my time? Why are we doing this, etc., etc. So I'd say that it is okay to overshare unless you're doing it on the call. Then you want to keep it a bit more North Star, keep it a bit more commercial, unless it's a technical call where clients want to know the detail. And often clients say they want to know the detail, but they want hints towards the detail. So you can dip in and out and wet your toes in the data, but still mainly keep it above board. So there you go, guys. Those are the elements for when it's okay to overshare with a client.